we're supposed to get a storm later today. There's supposed to be a gale developing. So what we're going for, what we're hoping for, is these clouds you see are going to continue moving in and developing. So the shot I want basically is going to be tracking around using this rock wall here as a composition tool and tracking into the oncoming storm.
So what you see here is the basic setup that we've been taking around, and right now it's obviously configured for time lapse. We've got the shuttle pod and the longer dolly track, and we're using the lightweight legs, which is great for up here. If we're hiking around, we don't need to bring other tripods. And this is the CineDrive 2-axis head, and right now I have 3 axes. I have the pan, tilt, and dolly, and literally the brain of it all is right here. Basically, this controls everything. Plug it in, power it up. And it's got a great and really simple in the field interface, and that's just the iPad. And using the iPad, we can set all of our parameters, design our shot, preview our shot, and then execute our shot.
First thing I need to do is I need to orientate all the axes so they have a starting point and an ending point, and then the movement will be contained within those. That's just very easy with the interface. After that, the next step is to basically set up keyframes with what I want my framing to be at the different points in my time lapse. This is a very simple shot, so I have a beginning composition, I have an ending composition. Once I've set those keyframes, then all I need to do is basically set up my time lapse settings, and that's things like exposure time, telling the CineBrain how long of a delay between exposures, and how many shots to take. And in this case, I'm taking 1,000 shots. I want my shot to be about 30 seconds. Not all of them will get used, but for this shot, that's a nice pace for when editors and posts select parts of it.
So now we have our shot design. There's a few things you can do that are powerful tools. One is you can run through it and watch it back in real time, and I like to do that because then I can get a sense of pacing. So if I play back the move in real time, at the speed it's going to move, I'll know if my pacing's right for what I want. Talking a bit about the shot we've selected here, obviously we've got this exposed cliff face, and we're just going to be sliding past it, and our hope is that the storm that's developing is going to continue building overhead, and we'll sort of follow those clouds as they move into the bay. But one thing dealing with water, and right now it's a bit wavy, is we want to try to take some of that jitteriness out of the waves as they come up in the time lapse. So typically I'd go for about a 15-second exposure. Problem is, right now we're also really concerned about what the clouds are doing. If we start getting over 4 or 5 seconds in our exposure length, then our clouds are going to start looking funky in the time lapse. So I'm trying to balance that. So using ND filters, what I'm trying to do is to get to about a 3-second exposure for each shot. So I've got the CineDrive move set, I've got the camera exposure set. The last thing I need to do is actually design my time lapse in the iPad app. And that's another thing inside the software. You just go to the time lapse, set your exposure length. In this case we're at about 2 seconds. And you set your delay. In this case I'm going for about a 4-second delay because I really want this developing system to sweep into the bay. You do all that and it will calculate your running time. So this shot's going to take 1 hour and 40 minutes real time to complete once I start. You load your shot. Software basically uploads what we've designed into the CineBrain, and when it's ready we just tell it to go and it takes over from there. And we're off, we're running.